through that experience of the loss of my granddaughter, because of the hardships of the Lakota people over so many generations, our people have kind of hardened their heart, are not as empathetic with what's going on internally with their children as they really ought to be. And the subject being taboo, not talking about it. But it's a discussion that had to happen.
My mom was on drugs and stuff, and my brother was on drugs, my sister was on drugs. My family was like being torn apart basically, and I don't get to see friends that much, and I'm like always at home, and I always have to work, and so I just got really depressed.
One of my friends, she's actually my cousin, she was abused at home, and her only stable home, which was the one she was being abused from, was her grandmother, and that was the most stable place she could be, because her mom was off partying and everything, and her dad was all the way across the United States.
What are you doing?
You just pull it apart.
I know, but you're pulling it apart at the same time as me.
Oftentimes, when the ideation of suicide surfaces, they just want to escape that environment. Home should be a place where you can be at peace.
It's really awesome.
Yeah?
Aren't you gonna go down?
Yeah.
I'm scared of the stairs.
Somebody said to me that it's not really camping, that it's glamping because they're going to be in cabins with bathrooms. But I thought that it was fabulous that they would be glamping, that they could be treated like princesses in their own Black Hills.
Oh my gosh! Miss Moneybags over here. Look at all these buffalo. I'm gonna buy my buffalo off of you. Alright, you ready for my story?
Jennifer, Janice, and Anila Wakan are some of the most generous, giving people you will ever meet. I mean, they give when they have nothing to give. They give. They give of themselves, which is the most selfless way you can give. And every child that comes under them just blossoms. It's like a flower. Their spirits grow.
But the girls, what's the name of that animal in Lakota? None of them can know. So I told them it's the thaka. No. Takcha.
Okay? So, let's take a look. Now, shine a light on me. Where are we starting? What time of the year is this right now?
I wanted them to think, well, maybe math could be fun, and you know what? They could be good at math. I think when they can work with manipulatives and have a little kinesthetic learning where they're up and moving, that's a lot better.
And actually, I think, if we put a beat to it, if we put a clap to it, that's going to help our brains remember it better. Okay, so let's clap. Everybody got their clapping hands ready? 3, 6, 9, 12.
It's kind of hard during math camp, and it's really whirlwind, and I'm kind of just on pilot from this to that. But then when I see those girls someplace else after the camp, they tell me that it was so great, that they had a nice time, and am I going to do it again next year? I think this year is going to be a little bit easier. There's a lot of people wanting to help, so.
And then we can remove the lids when they come in. Okay. And we do have more chips, okay? Let me get another bag out.
A couple of the girls were standing there talking to me, and I told them, I said, you girls make me feel so good because you do call me grandma. I said, I'm glad that you feel comfortable doing that. I said, it means a lot to me. And one girl spoke up and she goes, well, you make me feel not so homesick. And I had no clue that she was feeling homesick. I mean, it was like, wow, I never knew that I could make a difference like that, just in something simple that way. And
thanks, Mary.
Thanks, Mary.
Thanks, Grandma. Next year, trouble, Mary.
Oh, you think you're going to see me next year? We'll see.
We want to see you.
And because the children here grew up with such a degree of prejudice and racism, it's important for them to see that other people in the world, that they're not all prejudiced and hateful people, and that people really do care. And by that, them being a vehicle for the children to realize that, you know, the world, maybe it really isn't such a bad place. You know, maybe there really are good people. Maybe this life really is good and worth living, and that somehow I can fit into the world somewhere.
I feel like I should give you a song, Taryn. You need a song to keep you going.
I know.
Put on some Rocky.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, Paula.
Take a glass full of raw eggs.
We are the champions.
It's Team Sula, it's a Lakota staple. It's really important when you do ceremony, you know, at least to me and to my people. It's really important when you do those kind of things that you try to have a traditional meal. Team Sula itself is like a part of our soul. It's our, you know, within it is the DNA of our people. It's a very lasting part of the spiritual culture and ways of living of the Lakota people. And so it's you know, it's a soulful food, you know, to go with a very soulful ceremony that is also a part of us.
For a while, I didn't really know what the throwing of the ball ceremony was, and I barely knew what sweat was. And so it like really helped me connect with that other side that I never really got to know.
So when you get out there for that ceremony, you follow that drum just like the same steps that you're at that Sundance. That's very, very important. I mean, the day before the last day when we did do the ceremony, it was gloomy and rainy, and it kind of felt like maybe it's not going to happen. And there was some minor conflicts that we were having with some of the youth volunteers we had. And so I took them down to the Inipi. I figured the best way to sort that whole issue out was to ground them into their tradition once they had prepared the sweat. And they asked me, how's it gonna light? It's all wet. And so I looked at them and I smiled and I said, it's going to light. We're together, we have unity, and the fire will light. And I reached down with my lighter, and it really was true. It didn't matter how much water was dripping off of those pine needles that we used to start it, it just went. And it just went quick. And so I told them to go ahead and go back to camp and have lunch, because it was lunchtime. And I just spent time praying for a good day. And it was at that moment the sun popped through the sky. And then I knew it was going to be a good day for the Tapa Wankayapi. And it was. Black Elk say that someday, when we are at the dawn of our time as people, the sacred ball will return to that sacred site, Peshla, and our children will be with it. Through them, God willing, if they hold on to this life and see themselves for the worth that they really are, our people will have hope in the future.
I really wanted that stuff, but at the same time, my grandmother didn't let me. And it was just kind of disappointing. And it just kind of made me spiral a bit lower. But at the same time, I started coming here. Stuff happened, got better. Long ago, they had all of these things for the girls. If they were feeling just like a little bit sad, they would do this for them. They would make a quilt for them. They would do all of this stuff to just make the girl feel okay again. And now with that stuff, it's just kind of like send her off to counseling. That's about it. And there's nothing traditional about it. And I think that like the girls and boys kind of suffer from it.
Creator has a plan for each of us, so each one of you, whoever catches that ball, I promise you this, there is a great destiny for you. It's important to give them and reteach their culture and their identity so that they can be strong as we teach more and more children to become themselves and to relearn what they were meant to be since time immemorial. Then eventually and gradually over time, our children will step into the reins of power and leadership.
I believe that there's spirits there that want to take care of me. There's spirits there that want to protect me. They take care of me. They let me know things. They tell me what I'm gonna be, what's gonna happen.